Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Growth Path. Today, I'm excited to have Melody Sinclair-Brooks on. Melody is a growth and GTM leader with 15 years of experience helping B2B SaaS companies grow beyond their size. Today, she's the head of growth at Elysium Studios, co-founder of EspyGo, and host of the Unfair Advantage podcast. Melody, welcome.
Good to be here.
Yeah, great. Tell me, so you've got a number of things in your LinkedIn profile. I've been doing a bit of a stalk, right? So you have a couple of things that you're currently working on. What's the thing that's created that has most of your focus right
now? Great question. I think I'm in very much the venture builder space at the moment. So while managing EspyGo as one of our content products for marketers, working on just validating new companies as well. So very much in that positioning space and go-to-market space.
All right. Tell me a little bit about EspyGo.
EspyGo, it's a tool for marketers and marketing agencies that helps you have one scalable content system. Obviously, it's powered by AI, but it's got SEO and competitive analysis baked in. So it helps you get a repeatable process. So week on week, you can keep up with the demands of publishing good quality content, but at also a high volume.
Okay. Interesting. So I guess at the minute it's all focus is on content that's being created for LLMs, right? Or a lot of focus is being put on that. Let's call it AEO, GEO, whatever you want to call it, right? There's different names being coined for it. And it's an interesting one because content marketers now are like, shit, we've been focused on SEO for so long. Now we need to move over onto AEO or GEO. I guess this is a big topic for the customers of EspyGo, right?
Exactly. A lot of our demo calls are actually like marketing strategy calls baked in at the same time, because a lot of agencies and in-house marketers are wondering, like, what do we do? What's the best practice? What should we be optimizing for? And there's just this general sense of overwhelm because content is a never-ending loop. It's like a hamster wheel that they have to keep producing and in quality. And now with SEO, the way we see it is it's AI search, it's GEO, it's everything. It's search everywhere now, right? Even with social media coming into play, Reddit, all the platforms. So really top of mind. What obviously we recommend in our best practices are writing for humans, writing on your own brand's tone of voice, but also if you're a startup or you're in SaaS or you have your own company, to weave in your founder's voice and your unique insights and expertise, and then scale that out as opposed to writing with AI for AI solely.
So. Okay. Let's focus in on the writing with AI, right? Because I've heard multiple points of view on this. You shouldn't use AI. You should be writing it completely from scratch, which I think is absolute horseshit, by the way. I think you need to, like, if you think the people are doing that, they're not. Like, most people aren't. What's your stance on using AI or leaning on AI for creating content?
It's that's really a great question. It's always been top of mind for me, the question of how can we scale out our authenticity? Because as you said, if you're not leaning on AI or using it in any way, it's not scalable. It's not feasible for any company running marketing nowadays or any small business trying to get their name out there. So as opposed to writing, using AI and the source of information from the internet, I think it's always best to capture the insights and natural language from the business owner, the founder, the person running the day-to-day, the actual experts. So for instance, transcripts, having a meeting with them and answering them key questions and getting their original insights, and then using the AI to help frame out the sections, optimize for SEO and the right keywords. So you're kind of hitting two birds with one stone, but you're starting from the expert themselves.
Yeah, I think that's a good bit of advice there. I think the thing is that I'm noticing as well from founders or CMOs that are pushing their teams to create more content and then seeing it almost like cheating if they're using AI to create content, because maybe they heard from somewhere that if you create content with AI, then it's going to get flagged and you're going to get slapped on the wrist and that content's not going to perform. I think obviously if you're being sloppy about it and creating content from scratch and then just uploading that immediately and say, this is our new blog post, it's been 100% generated by AI and it's obvious, then I think there's obviously from a customer or from a reader's experience, you can tell it pretty quickly, regardless of what's happening on search, regardless of what Google is recognizing or other LLMs are recognizing. I think from a reader's perspective, it's just like, oh, it's just
Yeah.
lazy, right? And also AI has a tendency to lie, right? So it's so I think like you mentioned it before, like everybody's focused on SEO plus AEO, GEO, whatever. It's adding more into the mix now, so it's actually impossible to try to do everything, but
Yeah.
you sort of have to do everything. It's absolutely impossible to do everything without leaning on AI. So you have to. There's no other way you're going to achieve anything, you
Yeah.
know?
It's about finding a balance between writing for the humans reading your content, but actually also writing for the LLMs is really, really important as well. So how do you find that balance? One of those ways is answering questions really,
Mm-hmm.
really well that people are asking in long tail keywords and focusing on those. Um, but yeah, always, always, always keeping the human in the loop, no matter which AI tool you're using. Um, yeah.
Good. Well, we've spoken a bit about content now. Like, so you're now building businesses, right? So you've got EspyGo, and you said you've got a couple of other businesses that you're trying to push forward. Like, what is your forte? Like, what makes you tick? What's your background, and what do you like to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when you find the match between your talents and then what you're actually doing and the business you're creating, you find a really good harmony. So, not surprisingly, my background in fortes and copywriting. I started out my career 15 years ago. Aside from doing sales and fundraising, I started out as a copywriter, a copy editor, and yeah, I'd say that evolved into content marketing, both in house for SaaS, but then also in agency, serving other clients and really focusing on okay, well, the founder has like 10 minutes to spend with me. Tone of voice and their expertise are really, really hard for me to just come up out of thin air. So, or even to like hire out to other freelancers. How do we now scale it and systemize that? So, I I didn't render myself obsolete, but almost like evolved with the times and with AI kind of created and productized my systems so that others who don't know what to prompt, how to prompt, or who don't have that like workflow system in place can just plug and play that and get that rolling.
Okay. Okay. So have you created like agents for that? Is that what you mean by that?
Not an agent, but the way that the tool, like for instance, SPGO works is there's a lot of prompts and things going on in the background. And it's asking you the right questions and the right input. So you don't even know what to even if you don't know what to prompt, it will ask you the right things.
Got it. Okay. And with SBGO, then let's focus on that again for a little bit. So, how many customers do you guys have?
Mm. So we launched the recent version of the product in September, and we've got 20 customers now. Some of them are agencies, so they serve specific verticals. For instance, opticians, like agencies specifically for opticians. And this is the kind of use case where they have a really repeatable system that they have across their client base, and they just need a way to scale that out, hand it to their content marketer, and then and get that ball rolling.
Okay. So, are you trying to build it as like a volume business, or are you trying to have it like more of a, because you're obviously early stage, you only launched in September, right? You're having your first couple of paid customers on, so 20 customers in the learning phase, I would say, are you still trying to find a product market fit, or where are you at with it?
We're in the midst of that at the moment. As you very well know, finding that ICP fit, we've got a very wide range of clients. Some are founders solely want to do thought leadership and use their transcripts to scale that out. Others are agencies. So very much in that phase of exploring product market fit. Because one thing is true, content is a pain to do for every business and everyone because of that scalability. And so what niche should we pinpoint first and foremost?
Okay. Is it just yourself working on it at the moment? Do you have a team or?
Yeah, so I'm part of a venture studio, and we've got a product UX designer, developer, as well as another go-to-market person. I work under Bifrost Studios. It's a venture studio for venture studios. So we also have the support of the extended team as well.
Oh, nice. Very good. Very good. Okay. And the business model itself, you mentioned that sort of before. Are you looking at volume? Is that the route you're going to go down? So this sort of product led growth type of.
Not yet. So initially, when you launch a tool, ideally you want to do PLG, but PLG is something that takes quite a while to really to nail.
Mhm.
And I think there's so much value living with the customers and having regular calls with them, being in the demos, being hands on, because that's where all the insights come. Eventually, yes, the goal is to be totally PLG. We're currently working on smoothing out the onboarding process so it's even more intuitive. But yeah, I think ultimately the goal is volume so that anyone can log in, promote their business, feed in a little bit of input, and get that scalable output out that sounds like them.
Yeah, PLG model is hard, right? Look, it's all hard. Like if it was easy, everyone would do it. I think it doesn't matter if you're product led or sales led. I think it's difficult regardless. The I think some of the challenges that come with the PLG model, as you mentioned, is things like onboarding, making sure that you're finding that like aha moment for people when they first come into the product, so that that's the moment then when you're looking to upgrade them onto a paid plan. Like you need to have that moment, and a lot of companies don't find that moment. Like when is the moment that makes them more likely to turn into a customer? Like what's that action that they need to perform in order for them to see the value quickly within the product, but also make them not want to live without it, right? So, and I think that's really hard. Like that's probably the hardest part. But then on top of that, it's also you're very your hands are tied in terms of channels promotion. You need to keep your customer acquisition costs super low because you're only getting a fraction, like a small amount in every month from every customer that you're bringing in. Therefore, the cost per acquisition per customer needs to remain super low. So it sort of ties your hands a little bit in terms of being able to educate, because you're constantly on this battle of trying to just get people onto a landing page to sign up for a free trial, you
Yeah,
know?
and surprisingly, actually, at this early stage, we found that direct outreach, attending events, and even just doing cold calling have been immediate channels, and a lot of those are free or can be virtually free, especially when you get to your first 100 customers. Um, but yeah, equally, the other hard thing is finding that right niche and segment where the problem is like their hair is literally on fire and that your tool fixes that specific part of their workflow. And that's really key now, especially in SaaS, because there's so many tools out there. No one wants to add another tool to their tool stack.
Mm,
Absolutely essential. And even better, what we're trying to do is consolidate a few tools into one. Tools like even Google Docs is going to be absorbed by our tool. Like the need for that back and forth editing can be done in there, but trying to house everything and including tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush and other things so that you can just be in one place, not go from tab to
mm.
tab. Just, I think that's really the future of anyone making AI powered tools. Just needs to consider the adjacent parts of the workflow and try and consolidate that because as you know, running an agency, it's it's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, and just on your sales process now, it sounds like it's my advice, take it or leave it, right, would be just like really consider that sales led growth approach even beyond the 100 customers, because you'll get to 100 customers, yes, with the sales led piece, but then once you try to scale that, you won't be able to do it the same way that you're doing now, and you'll be at the mercy of the lords of Google Ads to make sure that you're driving people with the right message to a landing page where they're going to go through a free trial, and you're not going to be able to do too much education towards those customers because you just won't have the money to do it. Like right now, it's easy to go to an event, easy to pick up the phone. But if you look to scale that, so like in volume SaaS, when you start to look at outbound, like an outbound team if you're looking to scale your sales via an outbound team, you need to make sure that the costs of that team are not like outweigh, like you need to make sure that your efficiency metrics are not being weighed in the wrong direction towards like CAC going way too high because you're hiring headcount in order to drive customers that are only driving a small amount. It's really hard to find that balance in my experience, but it's interesting. It's really interesting, but you won't know that anyway until you get past that 100 customers. But it's yeah.
It's a growing space that too. You're seeing these AI SDRs come out and like robot phone calls and things, and it's just a whole other.
I
It's,
think I think that's the way to go now. I could be wrong. I think that's gonna change. I think that obviously the technology is getting better and better by the day. But
Yeah.
do you want to be called by an AI
No,
agent?
at all. At all. I think where it can be helpful for outbound is automating it to this point until you reach a human, and then immediately you have to bring your actual self into the loop. Just that prospecting time can be saved a lot, but the rest should be a real interaction.
Yeah, and I think that's already been sort of solved, not very well, but it has been sort of solved over the years with like chatbots and things like that on site, you know, where it's asking you certain it's not good, don't get me wrong, but it's like it's been I think people are somewhat used to that. Once people start getting phone calls from artificial intelligence, I think people are going to be like, hold on a second,
Yeah.
you know, but we shall see. We shall see. What's next for you, Melody?
So next is solving these problems with EspyGo, and I'm joining the team within the venture studio of Bifrost, and we've got a bunch of companies in our portfolio that are at various stages of growth, and also different industries. So, like one is software for marina management, and another is like an e-com site for survivalists. So really, when I say ventures, we're working across purple ocean opportunities where there is that market demand, but you're not directly competing against someone else. You're just finding that right niche. So yeah.
Interesting. So where can people find you, Melody?
You can find me on LinkedIn at Melody Sinclair-Brooks, and yeah, Unfair Advantage podcast is also on Spotify if you want to give that a listen.
Great. Well, hey, look, we'll put links to all of those in the bio, and thanks a million for coming on. It's been a great pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Thanks, Melody. Guys, this has been another episode of Growth Path. Tune in again next week for more great content. Thanks again, Melody.
Thank you.